Some places are built to protect people, others are built to keep something in. Deep in the forests of the Czech Republic lies an ancient castle with no defensive walls, no water supply, and no logical purpose. Legend says it was built over a hole so dark, so terrifying, it was believed to be the gateway to hell itself. My name is Daniel. I'm a historical researcher, and for years I've chased down legends, myths, and folklore across Europe. But none of them stayed with me like what I encountered at Housha Castle in the Czech Republic. I arrived there in late October, hoping to document the castle's history for my latest book. I left with more than just notes. I left with nightmares. And this is my story. The weather was typical for that time of year. Cold, gray skies blanketed the forested hills. I remember the stillness, like nature itself was holding its breath. The castle stood like a blackened tooth, jutting out of the woods, isolated and ancient. There were no defensive walls, no water sources nearby. Architecturally, it made no sense. It felt like it wasn't built to defend from the outside, but from something within. I was welcomed by a local guide named Petra. She had grown up hearing rumors about the castle, but she refused to go inside with me. Her parting words chilled me. If you hear whispers, don't answer. The inside was colder than the air outside. The walls were damp and the air was heavy. As I explored the main chamber, I saw faded frescoes of monstrous creatures, half human, half beast, clawing at the souls of the damned. One in particular caught my eye, a being with black wings and a face like a screaming mask. The caption beneath it was faded, but I recognized the Latin word infernum. In the chapel, built directly over the pit that supposedly leads to hell, I found notes from previous researchers. One entry dated back to the 1930s, referencing German occult activity. The Nazis had once occupied the castle, believing the pit to be a source of power. According to the journal, 2 SS officers went missing after entering the sealed basement. They were never found. I should have stopped there. That night I set up a small recording station. No electricity runs through the castle, so I relied on battery-powered equipment. Around 2:47 a.m., my EMF detector spiked wildly. Then I heard it, a whisper, faint but unmistakable. It wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from beneath me. I replayed the audio and enhanced it. The voice was male, gravelly, speaking in broken German and Latin. I only made out a few words. Open, below, free us. Goosebumps rose on my skin. I felt something watching me. The next morning, against every instinct I had, I searched for a way to access the sealed lower chambers. I discovered a rusted iron grate beneath a loose stone in the chapel floor. It took me an hour to pry it open. The air that escaped from the opening was putrid, thick with rot and decay. I descended into the darkness. The passage was narrow and twisted. My flashlight flickered. At one point, I swore I saw a hand, just a flash, reaching out from the corner of my eye. When I reached the bottom, I found the pit. It wasn't just a hole, it was alive. The rocks around it were unnaturally smooth, as if melted by heat. I dropped a flare into it. It never hit the bottom. It just vanished. Then I heard screaming, not from above, not from the sides, from below. And it wasn't one voice, it was many. I ran. I don't remember climbing back up. I just remember bursting out of the chapel, falling to my knees, vomiting into the grass. The sky was still gray, but I could swear the clouds had darkened. I packed my gear and fled the castle that night. I stayed at a local inn. Petra visited me in the morning, and before I could explain, she stopped me with a question. Did you hear the children? I hadn't told her about the whispers. I hadn't told her anything. They try to lure you back, she said. It wants you to come back, and it will follow you. It's been 6 months since that night. I've had 3 accidents that almost killed me. My apartment caught fire. My brakes failed. And last week, I woke up with scratches down my back. 3 long, jagged lines I couldn't have made myself. I've stopped sleeping. I see shadows move in corners. My dog whimpers at empty hallways. I burn sage, I pray, I try everything. But the whispers haven't stopped. They're louder now. I don't know what's beneath Housha Castle, but I know it's not empty. It's not just a pit, it's a prison. And something inside wants out. 6 months have passed, and I'm still running from what followed me. I went to Housha Castle looking for history. What I found was a door that should never be opened. And if you ever hear the whispers, and if you ever see the shadows, and turn away. Because once you've looked into the pit, it never stops looking back. This was my story, but it may not be over.